He took off his shirt in front of the prison boss. Then, with some effort, he pulled down his pants. Since he wasn't wearing any underwear, he was immediately mocked by the boss, Mala Madre. Mala casually gave him a nickname, Underwear Kid. After a few jokes, he was told to put his clothes back on. Mala always paid extra attention to new inmates, but none of them realized how intense the next events were going to be. A few hours earlier, Underwear Kid, guided by 2 guards, was starting to get familiar with the prison. In reality, he wasn't a real criminal, but a newly hired guard named Juan. At that time, Mala was in a restricted area during outdoor time. Soon, it was time for the guards to take him back. But just as the handcuffs were being put on, a loud bang suddenly echoed. When the guards turned to check, Mala spat a key out of his mouth. The guard who went in to investigate found nothing unusual and quickly left to continue watching Mala. But as soon as he turned his back, Mala grabbed him by the throat. The loud bang had been caused by a hole smashing through the ceiling in the corridor, and falling debris struck Juan. Not only was he bleeding from the impact, he also briefly lost consciousness. The 2 guards, thinking nothing more of it, hurriedly carried him to cell 211 because it was temporarily empty. They planned to let him rest there first, then send someone to get a doctor. But less than 2 minutes later, another guard came running back in a panic. A riot had broken out across the prison, and the inmates were pouring out. To save their lives, they had no choice but to leave Juan behind and flee. Meanwhile, the guards outside the prison didn't dare to intervene. One inmate had already broken into cell 211. He slapped Juan awake. This cell had always been empty, so seeing someone inside was naturally very unusual. The inmate asked Juan who he was, but Juan looked confused and said nothing. Seeing this, the inmate turned to report to Mala. As Juan slowly regained his senses, he walked to the door and listened to the commotion outside. He already had a rough idea of what was happening. In a rush, Juan quickly untied his shoelaces and threw them in the toilet. Then came his belt, his ID badge, and even his wallet. Just as he was about to remove his wedding ring, the inmate returned, forcing him out of the cell. This scene was caught on the surveillance cameras. Soon, Juan was brought before Mala. Fortunately, since he had just discarded all those items, he could pretend to be a new inmate and hadn't immediately exposed his identity. Mala was serving a 120-year sentence, a record that cemented his position as the top boss in the prison. He didn't suspect much about Juan's identity, only ordering him to strip for a check. After confirming everything was fine, Mala ordered his men to destroy the surveillance cameras. Juan got dressed again and followed Mala into the main hall. He suggested keeping one camera active, which made Mala frown slightly. Juan quickly explained, keeping one camera allows them to show the outside world what's happening and facilitates negotiations. When not in use, it can simply be covered with a cloth. Mala thought it made sense and immediately agreed. Juan took the opportunity to climb up and cover the camera. The people in the monitoring room, seeing this, finally breathed a temporary sigh of relief. It was clear that Juan